Here's something nobody wants you to hear. Sometimes, effort alone isn't enough to save a relationship. Imagine pouring your heart into a relationship, giving it everything you have, only to watch it slip away like sand through your fingers. It's the kind of story that keeps people up at night, staring at the ceiling, wondering where they went wrong. I should know, because I've been there. And so has a friend of mine named James. This isn't theory, it's reality. I remember the night James told me about it. He was sitting on my porch under a flickering street lamp, shoulders slumped, rain dripping off his jacket, phone in his hand. He looked at me and said, "I don't get it. I did everything right. And she's gone." That image is burned into my mind. James was the kind of man who believed in true love with all his soul. He didn't waste time. When he fell hard. He planned special date nights, wrote thoughtful letters, and even read that self-help book on communication I lent him, hoping to understand her better. To everyone around, it looked perfect. He was attentive, caring, selfless, putting his partner first at every turn.
He thought effort was the secret sauce. He believed that no problem was too big if he just did more of everything. More dinners, more surprise gifts, more midnight talks. It's a naive dream we all share at some point. If I love her enough, nothing can break us. We're programmed to think that way. But one rainy evening, as we sat watching the storm, his phone lit up. It was a message from her. Heart emojis, a smiley face. He thought he'd feel joy, but instead he felt a chill. Her words on the screen, "We need to talk." Later that night, with thunder cracking outside, she left. She said she loved him, but something inside her told her to move on. James was shattered. The world fell apart in that moment. And in that broken, lonely silence, he realized something bitter and simple. Effort alone wasn't enough. We've all heard those romantic lines. If love is real, you'll do anything. But here's the unfiltered truth. Sometimes effort alone isn't enough. It doesn't matter how many times you say, "I love you," or how many sacrifices you make. If the other person isn't walking the same path, the distance only grows wider. It's like trying to catch a waterfall with your bare hands. Think about it. Relationships are partnerships, not battles of will. You might load the gun of effort with bullets, compliments, gifts, late-night calls, but if the other hand stays empty on the trigger, what good is that weapon? You end up firing at shadows. Psychologists tell us people in relationships need mutual investment. If one person is pushing the cart alone and the other is just sitting, eventually they'll burn out. Imagine trying to move a boulder by yourself. No matter how strong you are, at some point it won't budge. Relationships are a shared weight. You can't carry it on one shoulder forever without sinking into the dirt.
There's even a term for it, the sunk cost fallacy. James kept fighting because he had poured so much in, like a gambler refusing to fold because of all he'd already put on the table. But love isn't a bet you have to win just because you've wagered a lot. Sometimes the smartest move is to fold and walk away. Philosophers like Epictetus remind us there is only one thing truly in our control: our own actions and responses. You can control how dedicated you are, how honest you are, how much respect you give. But you can't control someone else's heart, their feelings, or their choices. Love isn't a contract to be enforced. It's a gift that must be freely given. The Stoics teach us to accept what fate brings and understand that outcomes aren't guaranteed. You might do everything right, speak the sweetest words, be the kindest man, fix the smallest crack, and still end up at the same lonely crossroads as if you did nothing at all. The difference is, you walk away with character. You walk away with wisdom. This lesson is a hard pill to swallow. In the days after the breakup, James felt everything fall apart. He replayed every moment. The time he held her hand extra tight, the night he let her pick the movie, the morning he woke up early to make her coffee. Yet, it wasn't enough. It hurt like hell to realize that being good or kind or romantic does not obligate someone to stay. Here's the raw, brutal truth. Life isn't fair. People aren't trucks you can force forward by pushing. If they don't want to move, no amount of honking or yelling will change their mind. You honor your role by doing your part, by giving your all, but you don't own the outcome. If they leave the road, you can't drag them back onto it.
So what do we do with this knowledge? Do we become cynical and stop caring altogether? No, we become wiser. Like a blacksmith uses a hammer and flame to forge steel out of chaos, we use this pain to strengthen ourselves. We learn that effort is necessary, but it's not a magic guarantee. It's like watering a plant. If the soil is poisonous, no amount of water will grow roses. Sometimes the plant itself needs to change soil. James eventually understood this. He mourned. He got angry. Hell, he even broke his own rule and texted her at midnight just to hear her voice. She didn't answer. But then he made a decision. He didn't stop being the man he promised himself to be, even after she left. Instead of sinking into bitterness, he channeled that pain into something productive. He started training harder, learning new skills, becoming more than he was before. Not to prove anything to her, but to prove it to himself. That's where the real power comes from. In the darkest moment, when everything you believe is tested, you face a choice. Either become bitter and blame the world, or become strong and change your own world. A true king learns that sometimes the battlefield of love is lost not for lack of courage, but because fate had a different plan.
So, if you find yourself like James, questioning your worth, remember this: your worth isn't measured by someone else's decision to walk away. The journey you walked, the effort you gave, they forged you into a more resilient, steadfast man. That's never a loss, that's growth. Every tear, every sleepless night, every "I love you" that went unheard made you sharper, not weaker. Embrace that growth. Embrace the Stoic truth that the only control you have is how you carry yourself afterward. Keep your head high. Keep living with purpose. When one door closes, you don't curse the door. You sharpen the tool you use to knock on it, ready for the next door. Because when the right one opens, you need to be at your strongest. In the end, relationships are mirrors reflecting our flaws and strengths, not scales to measure our value by. So keep trying, keep loving, but don't tie your self-worth to outcomes. Become iron, tempered by the trials you face. Stand unwavering, and the right connection will find you. After all, love that is real thrives on mutual respect and shared effort. Everything else is just noise. Even now, if you're feeling defeated, remember this: the most powerful men aren't those who never got hurt, but those who turn their pain into purpose. Every time you rebuild yourself after being torn down, you're forging resilience, the strongest muscle of all. Life has a way of testing us. Think of this as a trial by fire. In forging iron, the flame is brutal, but it's necessary. Burn away your fears, your illusions, and what remains is something indestructible. Relationships, in truth, are training grounds. They teach us patience, empathy, but above all, they teach us what we truly need versus what we merely want. If one relationship ends despite everything you poured in, consider it feedback, not a flaw. It doesn't mean you were wrong to try. It means you're human, and humans grow through failure as much as through success. Believe me, the right connection, when it comes, will be like two streams converging, not one desperately chasing the other. Until that day, stand like the mountain that endured storms you thought would break it, and yet it stands unchanged. So stand tall. Carry your scars like medals. You have walked through the fire and survived. And if you do not let the flames consume you, they will instead refine you into something stronger and sharper. Your story doesn't end here. Keep going, keep growing, and the rest will follow.